Howdy y'all, I hope you guys are all doing well, I hope you guys are safe, and I hope you guys are healthy. My name is Josh, and I make content that's primarily centered around men's fashion and streetwear. And so if you guys are interested in content like that, feel free to watch to the end of this video. If you like what you watch, I'd appreciate if any of you subscribed or followed me on my socials, all of which is wears_Galdo. So, let's get right into this video. It's going to be a series of things that basically topics that I asked you guys on my Instagram, and I'll go ahead and give my opinion on topics that are prevalent in the fashion space as of right now. Maybe there'll be a couple of hot takes in here. There are definitely a couple of things that I just simply don't like for myself. These are all my opinions, and I can't stress that enough. These are all just my opinions, but let's get right into them. I don't really have a format in which, or an order in which I want to do all of these, so I'm just kind of go sporadically. And first one I wanted to talk about is going to be probably one of the most popular shoes as of late, the Birkenstock Bostons. Now, I definitely 100% think that this one is overrated. Although I love the Birkenstock Boston a lot, been wearing them for years and years. I love Birkenstocks in general. I definitely think they're overrated, only because you see them on just about every single person. It doesn't mean that they're a bad shoe. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't wear them, but definitely overrated. The next one is another one that is just so gigantic, is the Adidas Samba. The Adidas Sambas are a great shoe, has a lot of history behind it, and honestly, they look really good on most people, but they are definitely overrated simply for the fact that there are so many other alternatives to that particular shoe. You could very easily go with like a vintage pair of German Army trainers. Let me actually grab that. So this is my pair of German Army trainers. I got this off of eBay or something for like 50 bucks, something along those lines. And these are just as good and same shape as the Adidas Samba. And if you really wanted to go high end with it, you could always try going for a pair of Margiela German Army trainers. But just the German Army trainer silhouette in general, really cool shoe, but definitely overrated because everyone has the Adidas Samba. The next topic is going to be YouTuber brands. This one is an interesting one because it varies from brand to brand, obviously, and I think that YouTuber brands are rightfully appreciated by the people who watch that particular YouTuber. Obviously, their own brand is going to have their own preferences and tastes and everything, and so there are many that I support, and there are a couple that I don't support very much at all. Of course, the ones that I think that are great: Jacob Wallace, Bare Knuckles by Jacob Keller and Cole McBride, as well as obviously Somar, Owen Hyatt, Sanjeev's brand. A lot of these brands are really cool and great. There are a couple that overcharge based on, I'm assuming, just simple exposure, but I mean Silver League and Unsound Rags, Fernando's brand, I think they sell cool stuff. I think their curation is great, but they do charge a lot. And another one, which is a specific one that someone had suggested on my Instagram story, is I talk about Vuja Day. Vuja Day is by Ken Ejima, and if you guys don't remember or haven't been following me for too long, I did a video on Vuja Day a long time ago, towards like the beginning of me doing YouTube, and I basically, I don't want to say I called out Ken Ejima, but I was very critical about Ken. And what do I think of Vuja Day? I think the clothes look good, but I think the price isn't justified for what you get. This is definitely an opinion that's changed over time. When I first got like Vuja Day products, I was like, this is great, this is amazing, it's cool. In person, the hand feel of some of their items is really good, but they do charge a lot. Another brand that I wanted to kind of bring up, just kind of almost indirect competition with Vuja Day, is Wear. I really like Wear. I have one pair of pants from them and I actually really love them, and I've consistently loved them over time, so thumbs up there. But that's a lot about that one particular topic. Let's move on. The next one is going to be Junior Watanabe patchwork jackets, pants, etc. And I'm gonna go ahead and take this from the just patchwork everything perspective. I love patchwork. I do patchwork myself. I think it is awesome, an awesome look, but I definitely think it's overrated right now. There are, well, I'll take that back. I think it's oversaturated. There's a lot of options for patchwork everything. There are a couple of things that are still very tasteful and really well done. I still have the Capital Boro jacket as like a grail of mine, and I will get it one day, I promise you that. But yeah, pretty much I think that it's oversaturated as opposed to overrated. I definitely think there's too many people doing patchwork things in a not tasteful way, and it just can kind of look really corny, so you got to be really careful when you buy patchwork things. Techwear. Techwear is an interesting one. I really love Techwear. I think that Techwear is overrated, but not for the reason that you might think. Techwear is great, an amazing style, and honestly, like, because of its functionality is awesome. But it's the over-exaggeration of Techwear that people that's the idea they have in their head when they think of Techwear. And when I think of Techwear, I'm thinking like a really tasteful Techwear, whereas, I mean, the exaggerated Techwear is like an excess amount of straps, an excess amount of pockets. There's a lot of excess that aren't even functional anymore. It just becomes kind of a gimmick to look at. But if you wear look at things from like CCP-FM, or what's the other one? Arc'teryx Valence, or if you just kind of wear acronym on acronym, it's not too overdone, but it is still super functional. And so, yeah, final verdict, Techwear as a whole and as an exaggerated style is a little overrated. All right, and one of the ones that my friend had suggested, Mischief. Mischief sneaker silhouette or sneaker designs. Mischief itself, I just don't like. It is kind of like, for me in my head, it's kind of an offshoot of like Vetements and a lot of things that Demna does with Balenciaga. It's one of those like ironic fashion labels that make things that are a little bit more gimmicky in the direction of shock value as opposed to brand new design. And it's one of those things where like you gotta think like they do it for the meme. I'm 100% certain that they do it for the meme. And this last release that that I think fairly came out while I'm recording this video is like the orthopedic boot. I work in an environment where we do a lot of orthopedic surgery, and seeing that boot worn as like a fashion statement is just kind of crazy to me. I once had surgery on my feet and had to wear orthopedic boots for a while, and I'm just like, this is so weird that it is like existent in the fashion space. So Mischief is overrated 100%. I'm just not a fan personally. This next one's super easy for me. Flared pants and bell bottom. I think they're amazing. I think that they're definitely on the rise in terms of popularity. So as of right now, I think that there's like an appropriate appreciation for them. Next up is going to be denim on denim, jean on jean. Underrated. I think too many people are conscious about wearing denim on denim. Just wear the Canadian tuxedo. I love denim on denim. It's easier if you need some help with it. It's easier, way easier to do different shades of denim. You know, like maybe like a light wash denim jacket with dark wash denim jeans, or I mean, it's pretty easy to do black denim on denim, so definitely underrated. This next one definitely made me laugh a lot, actually. This is from a buddy of mine, Jesse. Finally, I can be a hater. Vintage sports teams merch is ugly and overrated. I would 100% agree with this. I am not a fan of wearing like sports team merch at all. I mean, if you're wearing like, say, like a Yankees cap or like a LA hat or something like that, whatever, it's all good. That's just kind of representative of like a city, sure. But I think it hits me a little harder because I don't like sports at all. I really, really strongly dislike sports as a whole. So wearing like there was a period in time where I like tried to wear like vintage sports gear. Like at one point I had a Chicago Bulls sweater, or Chicago Bulls or Yankees or something. Like I remember I actually had a post on my Instagram where I was wearing a Yankees baseball jersey. And I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, I was born in New York, so like this makes sense. It's really difficult to make sports jerseys and stuff like that more fashionable. If you're super into sports, I get it. So if you want to wear like stuff like that, that's perfectly fine. But it's not my taste, and I really personally don't like seeing sportswear used in the fashion space. Sorry. Mohair cardigans. Mohair cardigans, super, super, super underrated. Good mohair isn't that itchy. Meh mohair, really itchy. But I am still looking for my perfect mohair. Unfortunately, it's not the most sustainable or ethical material in the world. But if I can find a vintage mohair that isn't unbelievably itchy, then I'll definitely probably grab it. Cowboy boots. I really like cowboy boots. I think that they're, gaining in popularity with some people nowadays. But yeah, I think cowboy boots are rightfully appreciated. It's not overly exposed, at least in the men's fashion space, so I would say rightfully appreciated. Here's an interesting one, business core. Business core is a really cool direction to take from all like the distressing, from all of the other more disheveled looks. But business core looks really good, but I think that it doesn't fit me, my body type, very well. I think you have to have a more slim, slender frame and face to be able to pull off business core. But I guess it's like rightfully appreciated by the people who can pull them off. Grateful Dead / natural dye DIY. Grateful Dead stuff and tie-dye and all that, I think actually look pretty good, but you really do have to dress around that particular piece, in which I am not a fan of, so I don't own that much. Actually, I don't think I own any tie-dye anymore, but whenever I see a Grateful Dead tee, and whenever I think of someone who's wearing a Grateful Dead tee, I'm always thinking of like a sneaker reseller, which is kind of unfortunate. And then there's another Y2K versus classic. New Y2K versus classic. That's a big one. I grew up in the early 2000s. I was born in 1996, and so the early 2000s to mid and late 2000s were definitely my formative years. Classic Y2K looks nothing like new Y2K. I see all these people that are in Gen Z, and it's gonna make me sound like such a millennial, but I see all these children essentially dressing in their version of Y2K. I don't think it looks bad, but I think it is a very strange, it's a very strange twist on what I like figured I grew up with. Like with the Juicy Couture hat, or the Juicy Couture tracksuits with, actually there's a hat I got just to be funny. I'll show you guys in just a second. So I got a hat right here. This is a Faith Connection hat. It's so gaudy and gross. It reminds me of Affliction, Ed Hardy. It reminds me of that whole... It's funny because I got it as a joke at a Goodwill, and then I looked up the brand, and it turns out it's actually worth a little bit of money. Like, I got this for like $4, and there was someone selling it for like 90 on Grailed, which was crazy. I bought this as a joke, but just to kind of get back on track, new Y2K, I don't think it's a bad look, but I definitely think it's overrated, just because of the sheer amount of people that are going for it, especially in the younger generation. Overrated for sure. It's a trend that's gonna pass. I don't see this staying at all. Just like low-rise jeans. I can't stand low-rise jeans. But yeah, hopefully I didn't hurt too many feelings there for the youngins. What do you guys think of this hat though? Honestly, I think it kind of looks interesting. It's kind of cool. And it also fits my head, which is actually really rare. But this hat, although I bought it as a joke, kind of tight. And it looks like the last one is going to be a very specific one. Raf Simons, Calvin Klein, in their opinion, overrated. That's a hard one. just because Raf Simons Calvin Klein, if you guys didn't know, happened for a little, like maybe a couple of years. I really liked the footwear. I didn't care very much for the clothes at all. However, it did not sell very well at retail, and I think the issue there was that Raf Simons is this high-end luxury designer pairing with Calvin Klein, which isn't known for its luxury goods at all. And they're basically charging designer high-end luxury prices for from a company that isn't known for providing luxury clothing. And so I'm pretty sure that's why it didn't do very well. I think that I honestly think it's underappreciated, just because of the failure business-wise. There are a couple of really cool, interesting things that happened in Calvin Klein, Raf Simons. And honestly, if you were to look now at some of the Raf Simons Calvin Klein footwear on Grailed and stuff, it's kind of going for pretty high prices. I would consider actually getting a pair of Raf Simons Calvin Klein. If we're really bringing back Y2K looks, I want someone to wear a fedora. Nobody can look good in a fedora. I will bet money that there is not one person in existence that's pulled off a fedora, and I don't know, maybe that's a hot take.